Everybody, how you going today? It is so good to see you. I do hope you are super well. And today Nikon has dropped a new variant, a new version, a new iteration of the ZF. Yes, it's not a new camera as such, but it is a new version of the camera, and it is, as we can see here, the classic silver, which of course is inspired by Nikons of old from the 70s and 80s. This is an absolutely gorgeous looking camera, as we can see from the buttons and dials and switches, looking at it from above, just so beautiful. Now, it's hard to believe, but it's almost exactly 2 years since the ZF launched in 2023 with the Z8. And like Nikon did with the ZFC, we are having what I suppose, call a mid-life upgrade. We often see this happen sometimes in cameras, we see it happen in cars, and so on. They make a few tweaks and changes here and there. Now, to the best of my understanding, this change is simply aesthetic. I don't believe there are any hardware changes. Let's just assume it's physically, internally the same camera, and this is just an aesthetic change. Absolutely fantastic for those that want a silver version of the ZF. Now, I can see everybody who's bought a ZF already out there going, well, I don't need another ZF. And indeed, this camera is not necessarily aimed at you or me. I have my ZF here already, which I absolutely love. This is the Sunset Orange, and of course, the launch version, the accent color wasn't silver, but as we can see here, it's black. This is a black ZF Sunset Orange with the small rig grip, which just makes it that little bit easier to hold on to, and that is how I like to shoot this camera. So what does someone like me do? Well, I don't think this camera is aimed at me. I think it's aimed at new audiences. Obviously, this has been in the works for a while, because you can't just pop this, you can't just think, yeah, let's make a camera and pop it out a day later. This might be something like 2 years in the making. Basically, when the ZF shipped and it was a big success, they said, yep, let's do more variants, and here we are 2 years later. This is based on not only Nikon's successful sales of the ZF and the ZFC, but also we can see in the market, for example, Fujifilm just go crazy with all their retro-inspired cameras. We've got the half pick, we've got the new medium format compact, if that's not an oxymoron, but still, that's what it is. And wow, is it cool. I can't wait to test it out. And of course, we have the X100 series, which is now at version 6. Now, that's a camera that just keeps on keeping on. I was in the city at one of our local camera stores recently, and yes, the X100 continues to sell, along with, well, many other cameras. I heard good things about a lot of things. But retro cameras, they continue to excite audiences, they continue to sell, and what Nikon are aiming for here, and I can see it by their marketing here in Australia, they are definitely aiming for a young audience. And I can see this. This is a beautiful looking camera. From my perspective, it looks cool. Retro is cool. You don't have to look like a nerd. Look, personally, I'm happy to wear my nerd badge very, very happily, but you know, I'm a bit vintage, and well, vintage is cool, so obviously I'm cool, and I'm a cool nerd on top of all of that. But yeah, look, let's get serious for a second. It's absolutely in, and it makes cameras, I think, more attractive to a wider audience to have this retro inspiration. And look, some people talk about the fact that they love using the dials and they love the tactile experience. All of that's fantastic. You can choose to shoot these cameras that way, or you can choose to shoot them pretty much like a modern camera as well, or just simply put it on full auto, and all you really have to do is frame and press the button. You've got all of those sort of three styles of shooting them. So it's fantastic. From my perspective, this is an absolutely awesome camera to get into if not only you are really excited about photography, that's one. Two, you might be really excited about content creation or video. And so it does all of that. It's a great content machine and shoots fantastic 4K, just beautiful 4K video up to 60p, and it's got fantastic in-body image stabilization, and we know the sensor in it is absolutely gorgeous. It's very similar to a Z5 II, at the moment in the current range of cameras. If you're wondering what does this sensor look like, think Z5 II if you've never seen a ZF, for example. So this is a great starting camera that also has beautiful aesthetics to boot. So you kind of can't go wrong if you're looking for something, lovely, full frame, access to an enormous range of lenses, because of course it's not just Z, but it's E and it's all of the F glass. It's sort of almost sky's the limit when it comes to the Z mount. So it's a great place to jump in, especially if you've got family members with old cameras. Like if you've got old F mount cameras or old Canon cameras, EF cameras, Sony cameras, all of these lenses, they can be mounted onto the Z mount. So that's great. You can put retro lenses onto your retro camera. And of course, Nikon has released some modern retro-inspired lenses that are fantastic Z-class lenses in their own right. These are not S lenses, but they're great. This, for example, is the 28mm f2. No, it's not. This is the 40mm f2, and there's a 28mm f2.8. They're two of the retro lenses that obviously will go perfectly. And isn't Nikon cheeky, because they put a little silver ring on this, which of course is now going to match the new silver-inspired ZF. So there it is. In your country, I suspect pricing will be the same, and the only reason that the black accented ZFs might be cheaper is because, well, they've been around longer and they're in stock. But I think officially the RRP, the recommended retail price as we call it here in Australia, will be the same, but you might get some differences between the newer and older versions. Otherwise, this is lots of fun. It's exciting to see Nikon just keep iterating on this. There's probably some people in the world who are collectors, so they'll have to get one of these as well. I suspect there's a few people in the world that buy absolutely everything any manufacturer sells, so they might be a Canon fan or a Sony fan or a Nikon fan. They literally have to get every version. So in this case, they're going to have to get the silver one with black, and then all of the 6 colors that go with that. So I don't know. I'm sure there are a few people like that in the world. I'm not one of them. I think I can probably live without it, but then I'll see one and, well, who knows. Anyway, it doesn't matter what I will do. I'm super interested in what will you do. Are you the sort of person who's now going to trade your black because you like the silver more? You're going to stick with the black? Or you haven't got a ZF yet and now this is going to push you over the line? I'd love you to let me know in the comments below. Also announced at the same time is a film grain feature for film-like looks or expression, as Nikon says. To read the press release, a future firmware update will provide a new film grain feature that adds grain to photos and videos. Users will be able to achieve more creative imaging expression in accordance with the scene and their intent by adjusting grain size, 3 options, and strength, 6 options. So you will have lots of customization, and that is going to release sometime in 2025. Now, whether that's only for the ZF or coming for all cameras, who knows? I also wanted to touch on the fact that Nikon has put out a new firmware update for the 50mm 1.8S. Very, very, very super rare circumstances where it locks up the camera. This is a bug fix. If you own that lens, apply that firmware update. Fantastic work from Nikon. They just keep giving us so much firmware. I mean, my head is still spinning as to how much they put into the Z6 III firmware 2.00 that came out last week. Now, the ZF is open for pre-orders, which means it's not shipping just yet. Usually with these things, it's something like a month after the announcement. So I would expect, if you're excited, interested in getting a silver accented ZF, you definitely should be able to get yourself one before Christmas. Lots of fun. All right, everybody, as I said, let me know in the comments below, are you going to keep your black accented one, sell your black accented one and get a silver, or maybe you're not going to get one at all? Let me know in the comments below. And which is your favorite color? That's also very interesting to me. All right. It's been so good to see you. And if this is your first time here, I'd love to see you again. So please do subscribe, please share, and please like. All right. Bye for now.